back to another episode of the Cast Patrol podcast. We're privileged enough to be joined by another special guest today, one of the OGs of the rugby league content creation space, Isaac John, aka Ice, former rugby league player, now founder, entrepreneur of YKTR brand. Ice, how are we today?
Good, bro. Thanks for having me on. Been watching you guys do your thing and followed a few of your bets. I don't think any of them just come through, but grateful.
You take some wins when you can get them.
Yeah, I know. I love that. So, yeah, thanks for having me on, boys.
You must be the curse, I reckon, jumping on our bets and they lose.
I'm bad luck, bro. So
I think you're the bad luck.
Yeah. So, like, when I bet on my own, and I hide my bets on Dabble, they go good, man. And but when a lot of my specials have come through recently, so that's sort of pretty cool to do. But not alone with Dabble anymore, so that's all good. So sorry, boys, I'm out.
Recently, but it's so hard when the pressure's on. Like people like copying your bets, and it just everything goes wrong, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't mind that. It was just it got to a point where like people were sending me how much they were putting on,
Okay.
and really? I was just going. There was no thought process behind mine because that's how I get.
It was just a vibe bet.
Yeah, where you guys are like stats
heavy. Yeah, we love our stats,
and that makes sense. Like stats make sense. So if I was to bet with my own money and it wasn't anyone was looking, I'd be stat driven. Yeah. But I kind of fall into the narrative like I'd rather just hit a home run and I'd rather have a story that people remember instead of winning. Here's a $2 fucking favourite. So it's that fine little
sell one
balance.
cobber to score. Or
Yeah,
like a $30 multi. Go hard or go home.
Alex Johnson left side. Yeah. He's going to be all right. Yeah.
100%. All right, let's go back to your early life. Were you always interested in rugby league? Is it always something you wanted to do to be a professional athlete?
My dad was my coach, so he loved rugby league, hated rugby union, which was kind of rare in New Zealand. But yeah, we kind of just got forced into it. Very much played since I was 5. I was the ball boy for the local club side. My dad coached the Prem side as well. So just always around footy. And yeah, it was pretty cool. I come from a really small town, so gave us something to do, bro, and it was just fun. Filled up our time, training Tuesday, Thursday, hanging around the football field Saturday, play Sunday.
Do you remember what age you started? Were you
five,
5,
6, yeah.
Really young.
Yeah, and me and I talk about Quade quite a bit. So me and Quade went to kindergarten together, and from 5 to 6 we always played league together. My dad was always our coach.
Ooh, yeah, nice. Who was better? Were you better?
It was he'll happily say this, and you're probably going to micro clip this. But he would have said that I would have been a better player probably about up until 16, and then he was always flashy. We had a couple really cool side steppers in our hometown, and Benji steps where everyone jumps up, and he was kind of like the first guy. We had guys that used to do those types of steps too, and we kind of looked up to those guys when we were younger. And we played a lot of touch and shit. And Quade was sort of always influenced by those people. Where my dad was a little bit more... he was hard on both of us, to be fair, because Quade was always at my house. So, you had to go get the firewood with me, or if I had to mow the lawn, he gets in ground. If I'm in trouble, he's in trouble too. And that's just how we grew up. So my dad was hard on both of us through a sporting sense, but we hardly ever lost too, which really helped in life, to be honest. If you don't lose games from 5 to 16, you expect to win. So some pretty cool things to have. Yeah.
I've always wanted to see Quade in the league. How do you think he would have went?
He would have gone good. He signed that deal. He had a handshake agreement with Parramatta. Yeah. He talked about it on my podcast one time. But he would have had to come a little bit earlier because in Union they go, fuck, there's so much space there. And it's when you go from 13 to play 9s over in Auckland, fuck, there's going to be heaps of space. But there's no time. Space and time, very different things. So, and in saying that, he would have to make 25 to 36 tackles playing at halfback. Yeah. So he doesn't make that in... Probably hasn't made that in his career. So it takes in the element of fatigue, but I do think he could have transferred over quite easily. Yeah, and he's got a bigger boot than besides right now, probably besides Matty Burton. A lot of left footers can hit him pretty sweet. Yeah. But you just got to think Union. You spend more time kicking the ball, so you spend more time practicing. There's more reps, and you just hit him a little bit sweeter.
Did you ever go to the dark side?
No, I wasn't allowed to. My dad said you're not allowed to play rugby.
Wow,
but
that's crazy.
It's very rare, isn't it? Especially in New Zealand.
It's kind of weird. So we're in the Waikato. All the smaller towns outside of Hamilton play rugby league. So Huntly, Ngurumotu, we're a small town too, so they're more blue-collary league towns. But yeah, some guys we played against were Sean Kennedale and stuff like that. So we played them in grand finals and stuff. It was cool.
Nice. How did the NRL come about? New Zealand Warriors, was that just working through the grades and eventually it came through? Or?
I signed at Para as a junior. They watched me play a couple games, had a contract there, come over, and that's where I first met a Scope actually. Stayed at his house, and he was just turned 18, so those boys are going out, and me and this fella used to just sit in the room, and I was like, didn't even know who he was, didn't know fucking Jared Hayne. yeah. So I was just like, me and him were just talking about, he was talking about girls back in fucking Minto or wherever. And I was just like, oh, and I didn't know who was guy. I knew his name was Jared, and then literally the year after, we were about 16, 17, he's debuting, and then he's playing for Australia in 06, and obviously been for a bit of drama and shit now, but like at the time, I was just, what the fuck, this is crazy. So I got there, and then 20s, I played the first year of 20s, so I was turning 20 that year, 2008, and Warriors somehow got a 3-year contract out of school. So I ended up leaving Parramatta. They had Hodgkinson, and Chris Keating was like the superstar kid.
Yeah.
Everyone used to just talk about him. And so I knew my pathway there was blocked, and Parramatta always had the best juniors. It would have been the equivalent of Penrith now. Like their SG ball side, probably about 14 of them went on to go play NRL, like T-Rex, Tim Manor, Hayne. Like they were
crazy.
stacked. And I didn't know who these guys were. I just come over from New Zealand and I was like, fuck, these guys are big. But yeah, all those guys sort of come through. Went to Warriors. We had a really good side, really good coaching with Ivan. And just, I don't know. I always wanted to do it. I saw it as my way out. But my mum gave me like, you either work in the mill, which everyone does in our hometown, go to university, or league was my third option. Like there's no internet or anything. There was internet, but there wasn't like, you can go be an influencer, go start a podcast.
It wasn't like that.
Yeah. These are your three options. I'm like, that one looks fun. I'm off.
Did you have any NRL players you looked up to growing up as a kid? Like, did you watch footy
Joey.
on TV?
Yeah, loved it.
Joey Johns?
Yeah, everything. Like Friday to Sunday, watch all the games. I was right into it. I probably watched too much of it, to be fair. Used to
like
have
us. Every game. Can't get enough.
Oh, yeah?
Every single game.
And like now, like, because I'm back traveling and like we don't have YKTR sports show and stuff anymore, I hardly watch football. Like I enjoy the big games, like Origins obviously coming around, but love a little Thursday night special because there's nothing else to do. But I just like, I don't know, you just float in and out.
Yeah, 100%. Let's talk about your rugby league career. So you debuted in 2009 against Roosters, playing 5'8". Tell us the week before that. What was going through your head? Were you shitting it?
It was kind of weird. So like the week before, like I had a really good 20s year. Like we should have won. We should have won it. We got done in the semis against Broncos, which basically like Benny Hunt and all those boys now. They had a really good. So I got done on the whistle, but we should have won. And I always play well in 20s, and the bigger the games got, I always played better. And so I moved into NRL, debuted that game, and it was cool. But the sort of surreal moment for me is when I saw my name on the team list. So they call them Team List Tuesdays now. I don't think it was as like a thing back then, but I remember my name being there, and like I was 6, and they had like Manu, Vatuvei, and like Stacey Jones. So like Stacey Jones was big for us growing up in New Zealand. Like he was kind of like the equivalent of Sean Johnson now. And even though I trained with those guys the whole year, that was just kind of like the surreal moment for me. But yeah, I don't know, it was cool. Like, yeah, I enjoyed it because like you spend your whole life working to this one game and you put a lot of pressure on it. But yeah, I think I played like 65, 70 minutes, set up a pretty cool try, so I was pumped. And when you're young, bro, you care about getting matches, people recognizing you, and then like, bro, I didn't play that great, like looking back, but I set up a try. So I'm walking off the field, I think we just won, I'm like, yeah, fuck, I'm back in next week. That's what I thought it was, bro.
I've made it. Was there any players like on the field in that first game that you looked at and go,
oh, Mace was playing.
Mace
was playing second row on my side, so he was
running at you.
Yeah, he was running at me, and I remember my first one of my first runs. Like he was slow on a retreat, and like we used to call it, the overcall was hot, so I was like hot, and I tried to like skin him on the outside, and he turned and grabbed me and almost just like dragged me out and like he caught my leg straight away. This is the first 5 minutes. I'm just going, fuck, Mason's just dragged me out. I've got a cork now. This is going to start hurting me in 10 minutes. And you're on their debut. So it was weird to sort of look across and see someone, like even now when people see Mace, they're like, fuck, that's Willie Mason.
Yeah.
But he was like playing football then too. Yeah. And you had to go
was like
tackle
the man
him.
back then, you know?
Yeah, but that was cool. So what was the proper question? What was the original
any
question?
players that pretty much answered it? Any players that stood out on the field looking up
On that day,
Willie Mason.
Yeah, we ended up beating him, but yeah, he was like the one guy we were scared of. Do you know what's fucking funny? I was we were in Bondi the other day, and it was me and Simi, and Sam Burgess walked past, and like Simi's a big dude, and like obviously I know Sam, but like Sam had like that much on Simi.
Oh, wow.
A little bit taller, and like he's a nice dude. I was talking to him, whatever. And he walked away, and I go, fuck, I remember we used to play that kind of just so scared of him. And like, we're like 3-4 days apart in age.
Oh, wow.
Because I remember when he pumped Fui back in the day, and he was like, he's 18 years old, he's born in December. I was like, what the fuck does this thing is? But he was kind of like the one guy, Sammy, that when, like, say we play Rabbitohs, we'd run out first, and I'd stand up at the front where the halves stand, and like he'd just walk out. And they were prime time Rabbitohs
And
too.
his head's so big. He's just a scary man. Isn't
And
he?
just got that big strut, and then he'll run out like that, and then you got fucking GI walking straight behind him, and just like, ugh. It's not that bad when you're on there, but you're just like, oh yuck, this is gonna be a yuck day.
It's gonna be a long 80
But
minutes.
he was kind of the guy where I used to be fearful of. Jared was another one, but probably when we played JT in his prime, he carved us one time, and he had the Fox mic on that.
Oh,
my God.
Yeah,
I remember that one.
he's just
Yeah.
sledging you.
Have you seen that one?
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah,
I've got
that's the
spiders
best.
on me. I've got
That's right,
spiders
yeah.
on me. Yeah, that was
Best.
against us. I think he did.
Yeah. How do you reflect on your time with the Warriors? Like any moments that stand out?
It's hard. It's like it was fun. So I
Yeah.
went from high school to there, and I left there when I was like 21.
Yeah.
So it's like someone's equivalent of university, and your brain's not developed then. So you get thrown into first grade, hanging around grown men with money. They're showing you things that you probably shouldn't be seeing, but you learn that early. So you pick up sort of good habits and bad habits. But it was just like an education for life for me.
Yeah.
And you got to play a few games, and you don't really learn your lessons there. Where you're like, fuck, why am I not playing well? And like, you're out for fucking 2 nights on the piss, you get blind on the Tuesday.
Yeah.
You can't sort of piece those together when you're at that age. So, but it was fucking fun. Met some pretty cool people. I think when you go into first grade training straight off the bat, you have to grow up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And back then, it wasn't like now where a young dude can go in and like say whatever. Like you just do what you're told, or like someone will slap you in the back of your head. Like, there's a hierarchy system, but it like teaches you like discipline. So it
You
was
really had
good.
to earn your stripes, didn't you? back then?
Yeah, and especially if you hadn't played first grade, or then if you start to play first grade, like you can't really say shit to you like 50 games or yeah. And I never made that, so but I was vocal anyway. I'll say
Who
shit.
was the dominant figures at the Warriors when you were there?
Oh, so like when I first got there, we had Ruben Wiki. So like,
Yeah, wow.
it's kind of weird because we like like a lot of Islander kids. A lot of Islander kids wouldn't like listen to an Aussie bloke. You know what I mean? They would, but they'll like backstab him and like tongue him or whatever. So Rubes was like the head figure there, so you can't fuck up. And it, like he wouldn't do anything to you, but he just had so much respect in that locker room. You just could not let him down. Like, and he like if you done something wrong, he'll come around and like try and like father you or big brother you back to there. But he was sort of like the dominant figure for us. And then Stacey come back too, so like, you're not really telling him what to do.
no chance.
Yeah, it's like Joey coming in like back to Newcastle.
Yeah.
He wants the ball. Yeah, you can have it. Just bro, if you don't want it, bro, just swing it this way. I've got a wide four. We're on.
And then in 2011, you made the move to Wakefield in the Super League.
Yeah.
What was the thought process behind that decision?
A week before the grand final, so all 3 of our grades made grand final. So I think it was my second year out of 20s. Played my first, maybe my third year out of 20s. Like I went through this run where we won 5 games in a row, and I was a starting halfback. So I was like all about like, this is the guy. And we ended up playing Penrith, and I took a run down the blind side, and Petro Seven dived at my leg and done my ACL. Yeah, out of everyone you want to
Petro.
dive at your
Petro.
leg, he's literally the last one. He was at Maccas, bro, and I was like, oh sweet, perfect. And then like I tried to like pick it up and goosey him, and as I gooseyed, he just dived, bro, and just went tink. And I ended up trying to play on it for a bit longer, but I had that injury, and then the next year. Maloney got suspended round 1, and I was like, we need you back in the team anyway, because I had a good run before, just got back from injury, and we played the West Tigers round 2. But I sprained my ankle in like the first 5 minutes. So like I was just like, and then I didn't get back in to first grade. I think it was my last game at the Warriors actually.
Wow.
Because I had 8 weeks out, and then I went back into reserve grade. I was like the captain of there, which basically means you're not getting back in first grade.
You're locked in.
They're like, Ice, you're the captain. I was like, no.
I've got to get out of here.
Yeah, and the funny thing was, our coach at the time, Richie Blackmore, he plays very much how teams play now. Like, it was a way ahead of its time. So I played 13, but you know Nathan Cleary controls the middle part of the field now, and we played like that. So I had the 13 on my
Like
back.
Isaiah.
Almost like, no, but we had forwards that... but we had...
You weren't doing the running.
Yeah, we had forwards that were passing me, and the 6 and 7 would only hang out wide.
Okay.
So at the start of the year, I was playing like 6 or 7. I was hanging out wide, like, fuck this. I'm stuck on one side of the field.
Yeah.
Like, I want to control the whole field. But we ended up playing like that. But fuck, sorry, I've lost the first original question. Oh, going to Wakey.
Yeah.
So all of our teams made the grand finals, 20s, Reggie's, first grade, 2011.
Yeah.
We all went down, I think. I think the 20s won. But the week before, Bluey McLennan come in, before the grand finals was on a Wednesday. He goes, let's go for a coffee. He's like, yeah, sweet. Let's talk about next year, because he was coming in and Ivan was leaving. And he goes, oh, there's not going to be a spot for you here next year. And I still had 2 years on my contract.
Wow.
So mad prep before grand final anyway.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
And he goes, I know there's a couple of teams over in England that are keen on you. And he just goes, I think it'll be a good option because I don't think you're first grade material here. I was like, oh yeah, shit. Sweet. So signed at Wakefield. They offered the most money, so I went there. But I started off well, and then I remember I got dropped from Richard Agar, who's the Warriors assistant now.
Okay.
And like he said, he dropped me, and the boys just played well. Probably not because I was out of the team. The team just seemed to grow at the right time, and I was just a circumstance of that. And I probably didn't take it that well, sort of just dropping my lip and shit. But like he'd proper treat me like shit too.
Okay.
Like he'd have me in his office, and the way he used to talk to me, I wouldn't cop it now because I'm like a grown man. But at the time I was like 21, 22, and like you're over there on the other side of the world, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you don't know how to communicate with guys like that and guys who talk down to you in that way. But all he was doing, bro, and I understand this in business now, he's just trying to smoke me outside the club.
Yep.
So if you're in trouble at work and you get sent away and you come back, here's your KPIs that you can't hit. So legally we can get rid of you.
Okay.
So that's all he was trying to do. I understand that now, but he'll make me train like the earliest times in the morning. He gave me like the shittest jobs, like go run into the forward pack and duck your head. He had all these random fucking things he's got me doing. And like the thing was, it actually made me stronger though. Because he'd flog me in the morning, then I had to be around for training all day and do all the shit stuff like that. But I actually just got fitter and fitter and fitter, and I stopped drinking and I ended up getting fit as fuck. And then we come back, and Ivan ended up just saying, oh, do you want to come back to Penrith? Like, I know you can play. And then just kind of hindered back there, bro.
Yeah, right.
That was always the goal while you were there, to get back to the NRL?
Oh, I was kind of thinking like I could park up here pretty easily. I had a girlfriend at the time, and like I was getting paid good money, and I was kind of starting into reading, and I read like Rich Dad Poor Dad at the time. So
Okay.
I was looking around at properties I could flip, and the houses were over there pretty cheap. So I was thinking of it along those lines pretty quickly. But in 2013, we had a World Cup for Cook Islands, and I would have been like 23 at the time. I thought it was old. And I remember going, I'm just going to do my best for the World Cup because I want to play for Cook Islands. Yeah. And after that, whatever happens, happens. Like, I don't really care about football as much as I used to. I'm just going to dip out. But because Agar and that were flogging me so much, I ended up getting really fit. And when I come back to NRL, I was like ready. He just would not give me another chance. He goes, I don't care who goes down.
Wow.
He named like 5 players, and like 2 of them were like back rowers. Yeah. So basically, he's just gone like that and just goes, get out.
Shit.
So yeah, like I look back on it like funny now. But Jackson, he used to work here. He's like the main media guy. I was like, fuck, what's that Agar? Like, what's he up to now?
What's he doing?
I'd love to cross paths with him again.
Yeah.
Did he just not like you as a person?
No, it's
or
just-
he didn't like your game? Like,
No, like he's actually like a good coach and a good guy when you're on his side. But I think what he was trying to do was just like, because I was on good money too. So all he was, like I said before, he's just trying to get me out. And I didn't understand it at the time. I was like, fuck, why does this cunt talk to me like this? Yeah.
So from the time you did play, what was the difference between NRL and Super League?
Like
In
everyone's
terms of like gameplay and like, was it more free flowing? Is it harder? Quality?
Yeah, it was like the good thing about Super League, and I was thinking about this the other day where, and they would hate to hear this, like I think it almost should be like a development system for the NRL. So anyone who's kind of playing in like from 21 squad numbers from 21 to 25 over here, go spend a year over there because one, you play on like people that actually care about the club. So you're playing for like Wiggins, Warringtons, like they've got rich history, but you play so many games, bro. So over Easter, like we played 3 games in 7 days.
Really?
Yeah. So we played on a Friday, Easter Monday, and then we had a Friday night game.
Jesus.
And you'll hear NRL players talk about, oh, we had to play like 3 games in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, but you play a lot of games. It's not as intense, the defense, so you learn to attack. And then you like the quality is good because it's going to be better than like a Q Cup, and people actually care. You know what I mean? So I always think it's a good development system, and you see guys like Jackson Hastings and someone like a Brody Croft over there. He's probably
He's killing
somebody who could come back now. because he's not getting peppered by the fucking media too.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, you can make a mistake and
Yeah.
you're not in the back of the paper, or fans aren't hating you.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a cool thing. It was very much attack orientated, but the game at that time was very different now. So ball playing 13s was kind of rare. Back it was like ultimate luxury. It's very much like 7s on the ball.
Yeah.
So I used to play 7 or 6. So you get first receiver, you just get on the ball straight away because the Ds just weren't as advanced.
Yeah. You mentioned Cook Islands 2013 World Cup. How was that experience?
Sick. It was
Yeah.
like it was like a Bucks trip. So we had like 5 boys get arrested. Yeah, it was loose, bro. It was loose.
For what? What'd they do?
Oh, everything.
All
Like,
sorts.
just, bro, we were drunk the whole time, man. It was so much fun.
Who were some of the players in that? Cook Islands?
Dylan Napa, Jordan Rapana, Brad Takarangi.
Okay.
That would've been a good
We had a
time.
pretty good side. John O'Ford. Like at the time, I was kind of like the senior most like I was playing pretty good first grade at the time.
Yeah.
I would have made the Kiwis that year. Because they always had the backup half that plays against PNG or something like that. I was meant to be that guy because Tommy Luluwai was out injured,
Yeah.
and I was playing better than him at the time. But I go, and I would have got 40K too. But I was like, I'm loyal to Cookies, and they stuck by. We helped them get them into the World Cup, and I
You
want
get
to
to play
for
every
them.
game as well, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's been good.
yeah. That's what I
And
mean.
how'd Cook Islands go?
No, we
Too much piss.
yeah. No, so we played USA first. We should have beat them, but we were out on
We didn't beat USA. Oh no.
they,
Say no more.
USA, bro, and Joseph Paulo was playing their 5'8", and we looked at the stats after the game. They completed at 95%. It was something stupid, bro.
crazy.
They had no one. Like we probably couldn't pass the ball. That's why they completed.
It seemed to work.
One out.
It was just one of those
Hold the
games,
pill.
bro. No matter how hard, the same when you're in quicksand, the harder you try, the quicker you sink.
Yeah.
It felt like that. But in saying that, we were on the piss the night before, so we thought we were going to roll them. We lost, and then 5 days later we played Tonga, which is basically the Tongan side now. They had like Tomalolo, Manu was the captain. They had everyone,
Scary.
but we should have beat him. And Jordan Rapana dropped the ball over the line.
Oh.
So, and like I played like one of my best games I've ever played against Tonga because they was just so big, bro, and they were so tight. I was just stripping them with kicks and shit like that. I seen the highlights package out there. I was like, all right, yeah. But like had Tupou, they had everyone, bro. And Takarangi put Jordan Rapana over. He had the ball in his hand, and he went to go turn the corner over the try line and just slips out.
Yeah,
you know Jordan's got one of those. in him? Yeah.
It's like the try fails. That one.
Yeah, he's on that, bro.
Yeah, it is.
And
Pops
in that game, one of our players, Sam Motora, he played the ball backwards.
Oh,
Facing the wrong
Yeah, he played the ball to the marker.
how good's that?
It's
Yeah.
actually crazy. You lose to USA and you nearly beat Tonga.
Then we beat Tonga, and then we played Wales, which was like Frizzell and that.
Yeah.
We pumped them.
Thank God.
Yeah,
good.
But you talk about 2013 being a good year for you. One of the games we have to talk about it. Round 10, 2013 versus your former team, Warriors.
Yeah.
You can know where I'm going with this one.
What happened?
Scored a hat trick. a cheeky little hat trick.
SpongeBob and Hattrick. Yeah, yeah, it was cool. It was like the week before we played Melbourne. It was my first game back, and like, yeah, you're in. Like, we know you're going to do a good job. And I'm like, can you throw me in against an easier team? We were going against Storm. Obviously got the big 3 in that, and we beat them. We were paying. Speaking of odds, we're paying $11 to 1.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, we beat them that day, so we had a bit of confidence, and then play the Warriors. And the cool thing about that game was like all that times in England when Agar was just like treating me like shit and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And like he was like my chip on shoulder at the time. And then Blue McLennan said I wasn't good enough to play first grade. Went back and played the Warriors, and we pumped them by like 60, and I scored a hat trick.
Yeah.
I was just kind
That
of
was
like
your
that.
motivation, eh?
Yeah, it was kind of like a full circle moment in like a year and a half. Like I didn't hang my hat on it or anything, but it was one of those moments that I reflect back on now when I've gone into business because I was doing everything right off the field. You get those sort of moments, and then obviously you get comfortable playing first grade and you start going back out again. Nah, but that was cool. Like it was cool. And the thing is, I don't remember it. Like it's a thing called state of flow, where when you're in flow, like time goes like that. You know what I mean? And it was one of those things like. If people don't remind me about it, or you often see the highlights and people know who I am now, so they'll tag me in it. Like it's probably something that I just would have let go because I've let go of my football career. But at the time, like I don't remember a part of the game, which was weird.
100%. So when you were in the Panthers system, there was a young kid called Nathan Cleary in the juniors.
Yeah.
Was he the hype? Was he the hype of the town? Was there talk about him?
No.
Did they know he was going to be the next big thing?
A hard thing about Nath, weird thing about Nath for me was, it's like when I was at the Warriors, he was like 6 or 7. So
Yeah.
He was a ball boy. Wasn't he?
yeah, I think he was about 9 or 10. So he was like too cool to be the ball boy.
Oh, yeah.
So we used to walk in and he used to just like throw his brother around Jetty on the mats and stuff. And I was like, it was weird, like, because that's how I remember Nathan. And then even like in my last year and a bit, leaving the Panthers, like it's probably more so about Jerome, I reckon. And, yeah. So their schools used to train with our first grade side sometimes, where we used to do those club nights. And I remember Jerome really sticking out to me. And the reason why he stuck out to me was, one, he was like confident as fuck and he had a great skill set. Basically how he
Still
plays.
is.
Yeah, basically how he plays now. He was doing that when he was like 15, 16 and we'll do kick catch and he'd be putting up torpees and shit like that. But the thing I remember about Jerome the most that day was he was the last one out on the field. And it's different when you're first grade and you got all these young kids hanging around. You're like, fuck, get me out of here. I don't want to hang around these kids. But like I remember that so clearly that he was the last one out the field and him and Trent Barrow were working on really basic stuff like early catch, like squaring up A, skipping across and putting a kick in. And if you see the way he plays now, it's, yeah. But I remember when my first game watching Nathan, and he was an SG Boar at the time. And I remember Ive spraying him because he didn't say anything up until half time. And Ive's not even the coach of SG Boar. Like, he shouldn't even be in there. But he goes, are you going to start talking? But the thing I remember him about that game was, like, he didn't really stand out or anything, but just one of his kicks from the sideline, the way he kicked it, the way it sounded, just hit it so flush that it just went over. And then he trained against us for the 20s, and we done an opposed session. And like if you look at Nathan's game right now, you wouldn't go, there's anything super flashy about it. He was very much similar like that. He was still tuning in that. But we done like we used to call it like an arm wrestle, where you'll play for 20 minutes and you just be in the grind. And like we had a decent side, like we had Campbell Gillard, like Fisher Harris. Yeah. Or we had a good reserve grade side. And I remember they outgrinded us in an arm wrestle, and it was based off his kicking.
Okay.
So it wasn't like he was a standout kid, and he ended up being that standout kid. But as a halfback, there was 2 things that I noticed. And I was playing halfback for the reserve grade side, and I'd play for the Kiwis. And
You knew.
yeah, he outplayed me in that oppose.
So he's
I was already checked out, to be fair. Like, I've got some excuses here.
Yeah.
But like I remember that, and I was like, oh, he's going to be all right. I didn't know he was going to be this, but I knew he's definitely a first grader. But he could go on to immortality.
Yeah, for
now
sure.
he can.
Yeah, fucking
Crazy.
cool.
For sure. We'll talk about life post-footy now. YKTR, how did that all come about, and was it always a plan sort of after footy that you wanted to get into?
I always felt weird when people just called me like a football player. Like I kind of felt like, I don't know, I just didn't want to get stereotyped in a certain way. And I was the most stereotypical football player there was. It was Coogee Bav, chasing girls, gambling. Corey Norman was my best mate. So you can see what we're doing. But we just lived together at the time.
Yeah.
And we just kind of felt like people gravitated towards us no matter where we were. Yeah. And like we could go to Bali, and like we just always found people sort of gravitated to us, and went to America for like 4 or 5 weeks, and we just always seemed to have this good time. And it was weird at the time, but we used to just say, you know, the rules was kind of just like a little catchphrase at the time. Very much like let's try it or some shit like that.
Yeah.
You know, the rules was just ours, but we used to hyphen at YKTR. So like if a girl was hot, like we'd be like, YKTR, and that's all it was.
Or like in group chats, would you be like YKTR?
No, straight on Instagram. Yeah. And we'll tag the boys. But basically, our house, our group chat was called YKTR, and it still is. It's still the same group chat, and I think it's still the same fucking photo. And it's just me, Chicko, and Normy in it. But at the time, I'd read about 100 books. And then started with sports biographies and got really into self-development and started reading about businesses and stuff like that. But Nate Miles was a pretty important part for me because at the time he'd owned a few F-45s.
Yep.
And he was talking about Zainrobe at the time. And like Zainrobe were like big dogs.
Yeah.
And he was on the phone to Leif Tissotoni, who was the owner at the time. And I've got to meet Leif now. But he's like, what are you up to? He goes, I'm just taking off to LA for like a couple of weeks and I've got a bit of work over there, but we'll catch up when we get back. I'm like, fuck,
Sweet.
that sounds cool. And that's all I like. That was kind of the reason why I started like a clothing brand. Like I saw those guys doing what they were doing and I'm like, fuck. I used to go into General Pants and go, fuck, we can make that t-shirt. That was kind of the start of it. And the other part was like, I just didn't want to work for anyone else. I was over football, but didn't want to work for anyone else. So it's just the name of our group chat.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's pretty common now, like
crazy.
like Cast Patrol. Like,
Well, that's how ours started. We always used to say cast, like, oh, our horse is cast. Pretty
What
much.
does that mean?
It means fucked, pretty much.
Because like when you're punting, you hear the commentator, like if your horse is like cast 3 wide, the commentator will be like, oh, when Shitak was cast 3 wide,
Yeah.
it means like you're
Cast.
cast, like you're
Gone.
gone.
Yeah.
So it's sort of been
So
like
every-
that. Like,
oh, Castaway.
Yeah,
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 cast.
exactly. Or when you
Yeah.
see something, be like, oh, that's cast, like that's shit. You
Yeah,
know,
I've never
like,
really heard it in
Yeah,
that
it's like you wake up,
context, yeah.
oh, I'm feeling cast this morning. So then one night, it was probably just before the COVID lockdowns, we just were in Jimmy's front room and he's got younger brothers, they got all army equipment.
Yeah.
And for some reason, we're like, let's just put on like toy guns. And we're just like putting in, I'm like, oh, this is like full cast. We're like the cast patrol. And we're like, cast patrol. And then we put on the story and we just made a joke, oh, we're the cast patrol in our private stories. And people were like, that's actually not a bad name. So it just stuck with us, cast patrol.
Yeah, same thing.
Crazy
And-
shit.
Yeah.
And that was it. So when we decided to do the pod and everything, we're like, what's the name? It's easy, Cast Patrol.
Yeah, and so we used to make T-shirts, and they had white because we used to go out all the time, and like we just wanted to rock something that we rocked, and like we were kind of fun at the time, and people loved hanging around with us. Yeah, it was weird. Like it was unique at the time, but right now it's like fuck, everyone does it. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's weird how something transitions from just like you said, like a joke and something you say in the friends group to like now everyone says YKTR and the associations, Ice, Segi, Norman. Like, it's just,
Yeah.
and the clothing brand that accentuates it all.
Yeah, and it kind of like drifted all the way out to sports, and now it's come all the way back
Crazy.
in. But the funny thing was, I remember seeing it in like letter form for the first time on a T-shirt, and I was like, "Fuck, that kind of looks cool together." Like, I don't know what it was, but there was this little moment I looked at it, and I was like, "Something in this." And like, I can see that sort of stuff now with people or businesses. Maybe it's like a talent or whatever it is, but I remember at the time, like I felt a type of way about it that I just go, I just need to move in this direction. So that's all it was, bro.
how many
Yeah.
years has it been going for?
Like 6 or 7. So we like our proper like at that time that would have been like 2015. We were just fucking around doing nothing. That was just the name of our group chat. But I got over football, and I was just like, I want to have a crack at this clothes thing. And the boys were keen as and threw in like I think we threw in like 5K each. We at the time we thought it was like huge money. But yeah, it's been. We launched our first proper one. It was like start of 17. So
Wow, and now it's your full-time job.
yeah, it was my full-time job after about a year.
Okay.
So we moved pretty quickly. But like we've gone through ups and downs and cycles and stuff like that, but we're pretty good place again now.
Yeah, that's hectic.
Was
What
it?
Go for it, Jim.
I was going to say, was it tough with Chicko and Normy playing footy at the time?
No, like it kind of made it easier because I thought like if we post them in clothes, it's just gonna sell. Which it didn't really, because once we started tracking data and stuff like that, and at the time I was into drop shipping and trying to build digital marketing agencies, and I was like anything that was online, I was fucking trying to do. Because my goal at the time was if I can make $10,000 a month, I'm just gonna go live in Bali. That was it.
Yeah.
And like at the time, I thought 10K a month was like massive money. I was like, that's heaps. So that was just kind of the goal to get to that sort of point, but not really. Like even our business relationship now is like very much like I do everything, but like I don't care that they don't do anything because I'm very loyal, and I made my decision at the time, and we signed a contract at the time where this is my contract and I'll honour it. So I've always been that way. Same way with that Cook Island thing where I could have made a lot more money going to New Zealand and playing like one game and fucking around getting on the piss in England, but I gave my word to my coach at the time. So yeah, it's probably a thing that I'm always sort of stuck by, and I don't know, it just helps you sleep better at night.
Yeah. It must be pretty hectic though. Like, what does a day in the life of Ice look like?
I like it. I love doing heaps of different things. I don't have a girlfriend or family, so that's probably a consequence of the stuff that I do. But day in the life, up about 4:30. Try and get moving as quick as I can. Just come to work, put in my shift, and go home. It's nothing too crazy, bro. Like, fuck today. Like, I had a photo shoot from 7 till 9. Had a couple meetings, but then I went to go do my scooter test, like my knowledge shit. I fucking failed, bro.
really?
Bro, I feel like the dumbest
What'd you
cunt.
fail on? What
I
part?
don't know, the knowledge test.
Oh, the knowledge test.
Yeah.
The crack.
No, I wouldn't. Bro, and the thing is, like, I pride myself on IQ. Like, I like to think of myself as quite smart. So I was like, I don't need to study for this. And like, I just come out of the meeting. I was thinking about these design things. I was like, let me just rock up. But I failed the cunt.
You must have got one of those mandatory questions wrong with like the signs or something.
Do you know when there's two questions and they almost sound the same thing? Like, there was a couple of those. I'm like, fuck.
Full rattle you.
Yeah, proper rattled me, But that was my day today. And then had a couple more meetings, designs, and then, party with you.
Beauty.
Yeah, the way to wrap up the week. But I normally work Saturdays as well, but I'm a little bit free, so I'm going to have the weekend off.
Yeah, fair. Did you expect YKTR to be what it is now, like when you first sort of started up, or like you said, the goal 10,000 a month? Now it's into this studio content creation. Just
it's gone through different like chapters and sort of shit like that. But I kind of did, bro. And then when I think of YKTR now, like, I don't think we're operating anywhere near where we should be because I've just been distracted for the past 2 years, just babysitting with the boys. But like I look around, like I think I generally, and I don't, like when I say this, I don't even have an inkling of doubt. I think I'm going to be a really good entrepreneur by the time my day's done. I think I'm going to give a lot of value to a lot of people, and I think I'm going to build some pretty cool things. And like when I say that, I don't have a single bit of doubt in me. So this might not always be the journey. This might be the thing I'm remembered for, but I know this is just where I need to be right now, and I love it. So did I think we'll be this big? Yeah, but I don't think we're big. That's the probably difference in how we think.
That's fair.
What's been your biggest learning since starting up?
I think probably recently, like we had all the sports boys in. So I think my biggest fault of mine is like I always want to help those closest to me, and like because I don't have a family, like I saw my friends as my family. So initially, I'll always give people an opportunity to like thrive. And what actually happened with all the boys was it's like they just got money from elsewhere, bigger money elsewhere, and they all left. Where my big thing's always sort of been loyalty. I'm like, bro, I provided this opportunity. Like when you guys haven't had money, I've given you money and food and clothes off my back and shit like that. So I think that's probably the biggest lesson I've learned.
Yeah.
But like, and probably the other part is like a lot of people aren't aspirational in terms of visionary, where they want to surround themselves with those types of people. So I feel like I am that person. And like I know I sound super confident or arrogant right now, but I think I got that skill set. And you just go through all these chapters of business that you sort of learn about. But probably like, I know you guys. Are you guys friends?
So we're cousins, and then mates from high school, and then now just all three of us mates.
Yeah. Have you guys had the equity conversation and sort of shit like that? Or
yeah, we had like at the start.
Is it just thirds? Is that
just thirds between us.
Yeah.
But at the start, it was like people that could have been in, like, and then they're like, oh, I can't commit to it, and then now it's just us three, just all committed, and that's how it is. So.
Yeah, and the things going to happen is things are going to change. Like you might have a kid next year, and your priorities change, and that's what happened with Scope, where Scope was super loyal to me, but then he had a baby and a family. His loyalty should be with his family, not to me. But the consequence of that is like our friendship. You know what I mean? Because if you moved in that sort of disloyal way, and I value loyalty so much, like we'll say hello, and like I don't hate him or anything, but like we're not going to sit at a table and like he's not my clothes off her back anymore. You know what I mean? That's just how I like to see it. So and I had a podcast yesterday that embrace uncertainty was one of the key takeaways from it, and don't be so fixed on the outcome. Because there's times where you guys might get fucking 10 times bigger than you are right now, and what's going to happen is you're going to miss the times that when it was so much easier. And I think about times when it used to be just me and I was working all the time. I don't really miss those times, but I remember like this is a lot easier than having 8 staff that are ungrateful to be here, and you're thinking like, how am I going to pay this guy? And I'm paying this guy, and now he's outside skateboarding. Like, I don't know. So like you guys will figure it out, but just like don't be so attached on the outcome, and if you focus on this is the best podcast I can make today. Over time, when you look back, you're like, oh shit, we built that. Will Smith's got this great analogy, and his dad made him build a brick wall over the course of a summer, and he goes, fuck that. Like, it's going to say, I didn't say that, but he's going, fuck this kid. So basically, he was going, like, how do you build a brick wall? And he goes, you don't build a brick wall, you just focus on laying a brick perfectly every single time. And you do that day after day after day. When you look back, you got a brick wall. And I feel guilty of that. Like, my life's fucking sick. Like, I got back from Japan. I'm back here making clothes, cool content, signing podcast deals. I'm off to New York tomorrow. And even times I find myself being ungrateful. You know what I mean? Because this is like my normal life now. Sometimes I have to sort of slow it down and like, what's the best thing I can do today? And I'm still learning that. So I'm not fucking perfect by any sense.
But you're 100% right about like just embracing and appreciating the little things. Like we've been doing podcasts for like a year now. And if you were to ask us what we wanted when we first started, like 10 people to listen, 100 likes on a post. And then now like you get that and then it's like, okay, what's next? Okay, what's next?
Yeah, it's a trap, bro. It's a trap.
And then, like, we're here now, and if you would have said, like, we're interviewing you, for instance, now we got sponsors, you go...
We would have been on the floor.
Yeah.
Take me now, I've seen it all. Yeah. And then you look at it now, you're just like, okay, I got to take a step back and be like, look where I am, and just be happy that it's all happening.
Oh, you guys should be at the pub after this. Cheers. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the thing is like, and what I've sort of figured out is, and like, because I've always kind of driven things, expectations, goals, blah, blah, blah. Like what you want to figure out is you don't want to be successful on your own too. Like I could easily take off and like people have offered me bigger money, bigger jobs to do different things, but I'd be on my, like I'd rather build stuff as a team. Like I was sitting in front of the Eiffel Tower last year and it was just me and I was just like, chink, took a photo and took off. Like, you know, I had no one there to share the experience with. So part of success in life is like shared experiences. And that's why team sports are so great. Yeah. You got 17 guys on a single night when everyone's fucking looking at you and there's so much pressure on you. You get a win. You remember those experiences so much more because it's shared.
Yeah.
That's so true. Like without these boys, it'd be so hard to stay motivated and like actually want to do it. Because like the best part is when we're together and like succeeding together.
Yeah.
Sharing the wins, especially.
Sharing
Yeah,
Boys,
the
look at
wins are the
this.
best.
At
Hitting a
this.
first try score together or something. Can't beat that.
And bro, the reason why me and Normy, because I used to hate Normy when I first met him,
Really?
because like, is it like, I didn't hate him, but he just brushed me on the night out, and I was like, because Chicko was real tight with him. I was like, hey bro, Ice, he's hey bro, I just like clapped me like that. We was trying to chat up a chick, whatever. Standard Normie. But the reason why we clicked so much is we went to a pub. And we're playing pokies, bro, and I couldn't lose. So I won $20,000
On the slaps?
On the
No
slaps,
way.
bro. Yeah, in about an hour and a half.
Fuck, that's
So
crazy.
What machine?
Genghis Khan, surely.
Nah, Genghis Khan
No?
wasn't around. There's no lightnings
Oh,
back
back
then.
then.
It was in Bricky Point. Is that a place? The Palace in Bricky
Okay.
Point over in Tigers Land. I had 2 house links. But at the time, bro, anything under $800 would either red, black, or suit. Like that was just the rules we
Really?
played.
800.
Anything
That's
under
crazy.
800 and like, well, hey boys, I've just hit 600, and if it was over 400, would red black it. If it was under 400, would
You'd
try and suit it.
And what about 20K? You try and double that up?
So I had a 10K house link, and then I had a 6,500 house link, and bro, I just couldn't miss, bro.
That's
I'd like
crazy.
go like that feature, like black, red, and it'd be like 100, like 200, 400, 800. Like it was.
They don't come around every day.
Nah,
those
and
sort of days.
That was the first
Gotta
day.
take it.
That was the first day I hung out with Norms. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
To close off your career and all your wins that we've talked about, the footy, World Cup, and YKTR, we have a win that we like to talk over you. So last year in Christmas, Oztag.
Oh,
our
you beat us.
Yeah, Dirty Dozen Oztag, coached by our dad, Niven Cleary. Looks like Niven. We actually beat you 8-7.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, so a team stuck with Lewis Brown, Horro, and yourself.
We had a good side, eh?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we used to just clash, bro.
But you guys just like flick passing, like
Yeah,
cutouts. I
the whole
loved
lot.
it. I love watching you guys play.
No, that's the worst. Yeah. We were so bad. I didn't realize like, how bad we were. Because tag's just a different sport.
Yeah,
bro.
well, do you
Razziolis.
reckon anything
Razziolis.
translates from NRL, like passing
Nah,
game or what?
You think it does. Like, yeah, obviously there's like the basic skill set
Yeah,
that travels there. But like the way, say, like me, Chicko, and Louis would see a game would be different than, fuck, this cunt who's an accountant who's playing. You know, he would sweep down the blind side and it'd be like 3-on-2 and he's just like, like looking back. Or he'll just drop under for no reason. We're just like fucking 3-on-2. So, and then like it'd get angry and then we're all egotistical, so we'll just fight between each other. So yeah, we were a bad side. No chemistry whatsoever.
Oh, I love it. Okay, let's do some fun stuff. We got a game called Play On or Penalty. So obviously you played NRL, so you know play on means like you agree, penalty, disagree, sin bin if you don't like it, and you can send someone off, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, first question. Having a photo of yourself as your lock screen.
Penalty.
Why?
So send off's the worst.
Yeah.
Here's a good one for you. No, I'll go play on.
Well, you're going to
Play
play it on?
Because there might be a motivation for you to lose weight.
Oh,
There
okay.
you
That's
go.
good.
Okay.
That's good.
Smarty thinks
So
out the
You're not
box.
talking to your normal football players.
So yourself looking a bit thick, you're like, you just look at it every day like, I'm going to try.
I say this, when you start a business, the first thing you should do is create a logo and put it as your home screen because it makes it look a
Really?
little bit more real.
There you
It's like the
go.
accountability. How many times you look at your phone? Imagine you
Too
look at your
many
phone,
times.
you're out of shape every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going for a
That's
run
true.
in the Arvo.
Yeah.
A girl goes, give me your number. You're like, no, you give me yours.
All right, next one. Having a first name as your last name.
Is that a crack at me?
We're not saying anything. That was last name.
Play on, surely.
Yeah, have to play on. I think the triple first is
The triple.
yeah,
Yeah.
a couple good guys. We had a few around here. Jackson Thomas was like another one.
Yeah.
Craig David, one of the greats.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's
Well,
a couple of
Campbell
us.
Graham.
Campbell Graham's the opposite. Two last names.
Yeah. That's a weird one, eh?
He's got a really weird name.
It sounds like it should have a hyphen there, eh?
Yeah, like Campbell Giller, you know. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. Drying yourself while still in the shower.
Send off. That's like...
Yeah.
There's someone... Oh, wait. So you're...
You turn the shower
So
off.
you're within the shower and you fully dry yourself.
Oh, I don't think I've done it, so I'd go penalty.
Yeah.
A bit red flaggy, eh? But
Surely jump out.
Do you guys have shower beers?
No, what are they?
We have a beer in the shower.
Shower
Oh,
beers?
Yeah.
Maybe on holiday once, but no, it's not a
That
thing.
sounds depressing to me, eh?
Really?
Shower
Yeah, one
beer.
of the boys goes, best beer's like a shower beer. I was like, no, it's an airport
Nah,
beer.
that's not it.
Airport beer or after work beer for sure.
Airport.
Alright,
Because you're going somewhere.
Yeah.
Vodka raspberries.
I'll go play on. Just timing. You just can't have too much of them, eh?
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
Too many calories.
Drag you back on like a day too. Like, boys are, you walked into the pub and the boys are 6 deep and you got a quick catch up. Get in the raspberries, bro.
What's
Or
it-
shandy. Shandy's
Have you got a
good one.
go-to when you're out?
I drink vodka lime soda.
Yeah, the best.
But spicy margarita is my drink. I haven't had a drink in 5-6 weeks. I don't have a drink tonight. So
Oh, it's gonna be a good night.
yeah,
then.
spicy margs are my favorite. You should
Spicy
boys drink them?
margs.
Too young.
Spice ones
Yeah.
are good.
Yeah.
Love a marg.
Bit
Not a
expensive.
spicy marg, though.
Yeah.
Maybe on his shout. We
I've
do it.
got Simi hanging around with me and cunt never shouts. Dude. I go to the bar for pre-drinks like $3.50. Like,
Happy hour.
just spend 300 on something else.
You mentioned you go out a lot. What about shitting in a nightclub?
Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. So I'd go penalty. Like if you can avoid it, but fuck, what are you going to do?
You gotta go. Sometimes, eh?
Some of
You
those.
know what I was thinking about this the other day. So when you have shit in a public toilet, it's like obviously, and it's public, you just got to make sure it's quick enough that people think it's a piss.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the
So
rule,
you in and out,
bro.
quick wipe, and you're done.
Yeah, just when you get in, just squeeze straight away so it comes out, and then maybe put toilet paper down so it's not so loud.
And no scrolling on the phone takes too long.
Nah. So in, out, and even if you chop it in half, like I remember like the shit just before a game when there's like a 2-minute warning. So when you're in the sheds, they'll be like 2-minute warning or the buzzer goes off.
Yeah.
Fuck, sometimes you just need to shit there when you can't hold. It's the worst.
So you're literally shitting
Chop-
yourself.
Shit it, and then you have to chop it in half, and then you just got to play a game of football. Because you got like chaos, you know, what's it called? Like just caffeine rolling through you.
Yeah.
And just go straight
Yeah.
through.
But penalty. You just
Penalty?
Yeah, wouldn't do it, but if you have to, you have to.
Yeah, if you're desperate, you're desperate. All right. Well, we always do this with our guests. It's called the ice quiz. So we ask our
That's
guests.
called the ice quiz, or you just
Well,
know
nah,
the-
for you it's an ice quiz. But it's a quiz for basically the guests to see how well they know their footy career, brands, and whatever in between. So 5 questions, you need 3 to pass. Are you confident you remember?
Who's been the worst?
The worst was Campbell Graham or Jacob Host.
Yeah.
Jacob Host was tough. We gave him numbers.
don't think
and
Is
stuff.
it hard to podcast when you're all in a row?
Yeah.
It
It's like you're on the footy bench, eh? Like,
It is. We need to get a studio like this.
But we're doing all taps on the sides like this. So go back and you'll see taps and
Yeah,
grabs.
we have our signals.
Okay, let's see how good you know. So you scored your first ever try against the Dragons in 2010. You received the ball from a Kevin Lock line break.
Yeah.
Easy try. And you scored under the post, but 3 Dragons players almost tackled you before the try line.
Yeah.
Can you name these 3 Dragons players?
Soward Morris. I wouldn't know who the other one was.
Ooh, you want a clue?
Yeah.
It's a back.
Play for New Zealand.
Dragons.
that
Legend.
Winger.
Oh, Nightingale.
Yeah, so Morris
our
Nightingale
legend?
and Soward. Legend.
No, he's
No, he's one of the greats.
Legend.
New Zealand legend.
One of the greats.
Look like Wiki.
We'll pay that for you. Ready? So number 2, most individual points scored in a rugby league games by yourself.
NRL.
NRL, Super League, and International.
Oh, I was kicking over in Super League.
You were.
Yeah. Was it against Warrington?
It was against
Ooh,
Warrington.
okay.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
No,
do you remember how you scored? How many you scored points wise?
So I would have thought it's going to have been over 12.
He's thinking.
14?
Oh, you nailed it. Yeah.
So
Yes.
you guys scored 30 points and lost to 32 to Warrington.
Yeah.
You scored a try and 5 conversions.
Do you know why I remember that game, bro?
Why?
Because no one wanted to kick that year, and I hadn't kicked in like years. So I started kicking throughout the season, and like over in England, a lot of the boys just natural kickers of the ball through soccer. And I remember that game because I had a lot of them. And someone on Twitter was like, fuck, good to see like John actually kicking them. And that's how I remember it,
You
bro.
roll on Twitter, so you're like,
Yeah.
you remember that.
That's all I remember.
Wow. Hey,
Fuck, that's a good memory.
2 out of 2, we'll give you that. That was good.
Very good.
Number 3, your YKTR YouTube channel, obviously a hit, over 30,000 subscribers so far. Out of all your videos, which one holds the title for the most viewed? I'll give you multiple choice. You already know
the
it?
Paradise one?
He's good. It's Last Day in Paradise
Last Day
If you can tell us how many views, you're a freak.
On
on YouTube.
110,000?
Ooh, 128,000,
Oh,
close
shit.
enough. But you had Chicko's debut for the Broncos close there at 69,000 as well.
Yeah, what about Return to Paradise with Normy going back there? Was that up there or?
Nah, well, not in our list. And then you had Ice Opens Up on Scope Levy. That was
Yeah.
47,000. So.
Yeah, everyone loves a bit of drama. Right?
Everyone wants to see.
Rugby League soap opera.
Yeah, interesting. I thought, and then I'd done the game day one of Normie where he hit the droppy against Tigers one
Yeah.
time.
I did.
Yeah, but like
That's mad.
no one was doing that shit at the time, so it was real cool. Eh?
Yeah.
That's sick.
It's shittest editing when I look back at it. I thought it was elite.
At the time, you're like, fuck, I killed this video.
We do the same. We're like, oh boys, this video is the shit, and we look back like, oh my god, we are. Please delete us. But you're going good. 3 out of 3. All right, your nickname is Ice. So, at what temperature does water freeze into ice in degrees Celsius?
It'd be 0, wouldn't it?
He's
It's
too good.
0.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what's boiling 100 degrees?
100 degrees.
Yeah.
Mick, you've made this too easy.
I thought I did hard.
You're still gonna your body
This is too
boy.
easy. All right, well, hopefully
Mate,
number 5 stumps
Well, he
you.
passed this. He didn't pass his driving test.
Just give me a scooter license.
How did you get the nickname Ice? How did that come about?
So my nickname, my parents and they used to call me Izzy. Like that was my nickname
Yeah,
growing
yeah.
up, just because I was the baby of the family. But Sonny Fi, who passed, like you
Yeah.
guys might have been a bit young, but like he was going to be the next big thing. He ended up drowning, saving his brother
Oh, yeah,
when we were
I
in
do
our
remember that.
preseason. But I just walked into training one time. We were the same age. He just started calling me Ice. But I got a few like variations of people. They call me. I say a drink's always better with ice. That's
okay.
one. Addictive.
Yeah.
yeah,
Ice.
pretty good.
Okay.
Cool
Yeah,
ice
under
is pretty
pressure,
addictive.
Iceman.
Cool under
Cool
pressure.
ice,
yeah.
But Normy used to say when the heat's on him, he starts to melt.
I like that one.
Yeah. But the actual reason why is we went to draw blood one time out of my veins and ice was in him.
Stop it.
I had him.
Are we interviewing Nathan Cleary? Far out, the Iceman.
Boys, deduct 2 points.
So he needs this to pass.
I had the boys go like, yeah, what's he gonna say?
If you get this one, King, 5 out of 5. Let's go back to your first and only career hat trick. We spoke about it. Can you name the individual players who assisted you for each try? Come on, boys. I think we got him here.
So,
Got to get all three.
So who assisted you for each try? Yeah.
First try, I scored straight off the rock, so it had to be a hooker. Was it Kevin Kingston, first one? Or was it
You're
Chicko?
right.
It was a
off
dummy
hooker,
half.
but one of the halves filled in for
Oh,
hooker.
Lukey Walsh.
Moiser.
Matt Moylan.
Oh, he's not a half, he's fullback.
Aussie fullback?
Yeah.
He was very sick.
Oh, so it was a quick play of the
He went in
ball.
there and passed it to you.
Second one, Louis Brown, passed me
Yep,
through the inside.
correct.
And third one was off a kick, but I can't
Yep.
remember who it was. Right side centre, rolled through. It was David Simmons.
Yeah.
David Simmons.
That's pretty good.
Off a kick. I'll give him
We'll
that.
give him that. You
Yeah.
got
Give him
that point.
Yeah.
The hooker one was hard.
Yeah, because it wasn't the hooker.
I was like, what's Moylan doing at hooker?
Yeah.
I'll get him here.
Would have just been a quick play of the ball. I remember when that happened, bro, because I remember like I was at first receive and I looked and there was no one there. And I just kind of like, oh, fuck, I'm just going to have to run here. And then I seen Rusty Packer in front of me later. It was
You
good.
got him.
Good 5 out of 5.
Did you do a celebration when you scored that first try?
Nah, because I think
Oh,
it
the
was
third one. Sorry, the third one.
Nah, because it was kind of like the game was sort of out of, I don't know.
No ice in the veins?
Nah, that wasn't a celebration at the time, but I remember trying to be vibey, walk around real slow, like it was nothing.
What? Just a hattie.
Yeah, no one really scored these.
Yeah.
Fuck, Cherry Evans mentioned me the other when he scored a hat trick, and I mentioned congratulations, kid. And he goes, "Have you scored a hat trick?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "In first grade?" I was like, "Yeah." Fuck,
NRL
yeah.
Super
But we do thank you on. One thing we do with all our guests is our producer over here, Hasbulla. We get all our guests to sign the back of him.
Is that life size?
He's
actually
he's smaller than
He's
us.
way
Oh,
smaller.
okay.
The pen in the bag over there.
Yep.
So we get all the guests to sign the back. So we've got some prestigious people: Gay Waterhouse, Campbell Graham's there, Richie Vass. You can ink your name. You're about to get the text.
Take your pick wherever
Take
you
your pick wherever you want. You'll go down in our cast history.
I put him by the veins, bro.
Oh, right near the veins. Love it.
Look at that.
Thank you very much, Ice.
Good.
No
And just
worries,
before you go,
boy.
Ice, we ask all our guests, go to Maccas order. Have you got one?
Yeah, 100.
Everyone has one.
It's just a medium cheeseburger combo, but I put mayonnaise in the burger.
Yeah.
Mayonnaise, really?
What?
Is that good?
Yeah, fucking hell.
Mayonnaise in the.
In a cheeseburger?
Yeah, try it.
I'm gonna
tonight,
try
please.
that.
Yeah, put it on camera. So you get a cheeseburger with the steamed buns.
Yeah.
and
Yeah, it has to
then,
be steamed
Yeah, but they call it like McChicken sauce was the mayo in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But try it, change your life.
I'll definitely
That's a
try
Kiwi thing.
that. Have you
like-
tried the sweet and sour sauce with aioli with the nuggets?
Nah.
Try that, and I want to see what
That
you
sounds
reckon.
advanced.
That's so yeah, we get
Too
it
hard.
every week, and it's
Yeah.
bad.
We're nugget connoisseurs.
Oh, yeah?
We've tried every combination. That's the best.
I get 3 nuggets as well.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I hate eating junk food and feeling yuck after. Like trying to have that right amount, which
Yeah.
is hard.
Yeah.
But I love a caramel sundae every now and then too.
Yeah.
100%.
That's the order.
Yeah.
How good.
What do you guys order?
Medium Big Mac meal.
You could be here all night if I'm going to tell you mine.
We normally get that.
You would just
big
say that
Big
thing,
Mac.
Oh, the Big Valley box.
When it's us three, we get the big box, and
Yeah.
it ends up being like 2 burgers each, nuggets, chips, drinks.
Normally it's a scissors paper rock for who pays.
Oh yeah, that's all right.
Jimmy, do rock.
Yeah. So, all right, boys. Fuck, thanks
Easy.
for having
How
me on.
good.
Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Thank you very much
Thank
for
you,
coming
mate.
on. And obviously, we look up to you and what you've done for the rugby league content space. And hopefully, this is not the first and last interview we do with you.
Yeah, thanks, boys.
Thank
Appreciate
you
it.
very much, Ice.
Shout out
Cheers,
Dabble.